Congratulations, Jake, on your newly released book, Living for Jesus with ADHD. Hi, I'm Ron Strack, pastor at Meadowbrook Community Church in Champaign, Illinois. I have the privilege of being Jake's pastor and friend. Being around Jake, it doesn't take very long before I know what is important to him. He is a passionate and devoted follower of Jesus. I cannot help but be inspired in my own journey with Christ through his enthusiastic and unwavering faith that he shows and demonstrates. What is also a passion of Jake is his family. Megan and his two children, Lily and Lincoln, are so special, and he loves them dearly. But Jake's entire life is filtered through the journey that he has had throughout his life with ADHD. Over the years, I have known people through my pastoral care who are challenged in their lives because they have ADHD, or they are living or know someone close to them who has ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It would have been wonderful to have had a resource like this in my hands to encourage them with and to give them as a source of help to be able to navigate their life and their journey. And almost everyone I know who has ADHD has viewed it in their lives as a liability, something that affects every day of their lives. And it certainly does. But Jake, through his own journey with ADHD, is a remarkable story, a remarkable testimony, how God can take one who is diagnosed as ADHD with this problem and turn it around as a strength. He reveals ways in which ADHD can provide creative pathways for God to fulfill his purposes in their lives. I truly appreciate the transparency and the candid sharing Jake does of his own personal life and his own journey, and then being able to offer guidance for those who are struggling with ADHD. I appreciate this extremely, and I appreciate this very much. And I hope and trust that this resource will be an encouragement as well as informational for those who are dealing with this very challenging life's issue. We're proud of you, Jake.
Last December, God called me to write a book. I was attending a service here at the Vineyard, a church of Urbana, and I just hear the Spirit talking to me, like God, like audibly in my head, and I haven't heard that since I was saved, because I gave my life of my own, and God audibly said, "Come follow me," and I said, "Sure, let's do this." And He's like, "I need you to write a book." I'm like, I've always wanted to write a book, but I've never been able to sit down and actually do it. I'm ADHD. I have a lot of energy. I can't sit down and sit still. God was just silent after he said that. And I prayed about it, and I said, you know what? Why am I praying about this? God's the one that asked me to do it. I don't need to pray about something if he's already told me to do it. So I just started blogging. I started reaching out to people that I know have written books. Started reaching out to people that understand how to build a platform. And I started learning a lot about myself. I was like, but the key thing I noticed when I started reading into this, like researching, and I love research. It's just my thing. I love it. And one of the things I found was there are no books that talk about ADHD in the church and that are written. And if there are, I haven't seen them. So I'm not saying that they're, it's not finite. It's one of those things that it could be yet something there, but I don't know. But there are not many books written about from people that have ADHD. And there's probably a very good reason for that, the attention span. And as I'm doing this, and as I'm writing blogs, and as I'm working on this book, it doesn't even feel like me writing it. It's like the Holy Spirit inside of me just comes out.
I just wanted him, and I think this is the right time. He was sharing a story with me last night. So you got about 2 minutes, Jake, but just go ahead and just share. This is part of his writing journey. He's not published yet. Yeah.
I decided, I didn't decide. God just said, hey, you need to write a book. So in 2018, I decided to write a book about my life, which I'm ADHD. So that started that experience. So I said, God, I don't read, and I really don't have the patience to write. But God said, you're going to do it anyway. So I want to talk about understanding excuses and why we make excuses not to write. Because how many here experience that? Show of hands. I feel like the Spirit led me to really say that when Di mentioned this. And the reasons I stopped writing was COVID, the church being closed, not being able to be around friends, businesses, not being able to do life, not having experiences, kids, definitely not one, crazy schedules. But the point I'm trying to make here is complaining about our writing situation on why we cannot write, we forfeit the creative solution that the Holy Spirit wants in our writing. So my encouragement to all of you is be disciplined, make the time, just write, and at the keyboard, pen, or now dictation, say, come Holy Spirit.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
That's really good. Thanks for sharing that, Jake.
Jake, obviously we're friends already, but great to have you with me. Tell me a little bit about the story. Obviously God's calling you to write a book. If you guys don't know, it's about energy of change. God's kind of called you to write on it as you feel. So tell me a little bit about that process.
So it was about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Believe one of our pastors at the Vineyard was speaking, and all of a sudden the Holy Spirit just comes down. It's like, I need you to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I'm like, no, I can barely sit down to read a book, let alone write one.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, open up your journal. So opened up my journal.
Yep.
He says, write this down. I was like, energy of change, what God says about ADHD. And I was like, okay. And so that's how this journey started. And I've been working on this for about a year now, publicly blogging and on Facebook. So thank you for those that have commented and for those that have been actively reading my blogs and your support. Thank you. Love you. So that's how this all started.
So not first time book, kind of a miracle that you're even jumping into it, but it's awesome so far. So you're starting this journey with God. You're writing a book and all that. Tell me about what the process has been for you writing a book. I know you kind of jumping into this isn't something that you've done before. So tell me about how's that been like?
Well, when I first thought about this, I thought about an old professor at Eastern Illinois University where I graduated from. And basically, I was going back to a very difficult teacher that was a part of my life at that school. And I had to go back for like a writing portfolio. And I grabbed a piece of literature that I had worked on and I submitted it to her. And she's like, I need you to come in and talk to me. I'm like, none of the other teachers need to come talk to me. Why do I need to come talk to you? And she sat me down and started talking to me. She's like, you are such a good writer. And my jaw dropped because this was the type of teacher that would read Old English in class and we would understand what she was doing.
Yeah.
I had to write a 10-page paper on an 8-line poem for this teacher. So,
yeah.
And she started giving me examples that I wrote. And she's like, have you ever considered just writing? And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Not in the cards.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I'm thinking, I think the Holy Spirit was involved in that.
That's sweet.
And I always think back to that. So sitting down and actually writing, it's, I have a lot of good mentors. Diane Lehman, your brother, Putty Putman. Jim Egley has
Yeah.
been a very good influential person in my life for this, and just teaching me, hey, you don't have to go start to finish. So what I've been doing is just writing a ton of things down as they come to me from the
That's cool.
Spirit. I've been writing different sections of different topics, and I just have a pile of things now.
Yeah.
And I've got an outline, and pretty much it's putting the pieces together. It's crunch time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, it's cool that God's kind of like almost kind of revived something that was something that he put in you a while ago.
yeah,
So
it's really amazing.
I love the subject of your book. I mean, to be honest, I'm not for, I read really nerdy church history books all the time, but but when I heard the topic, I was super intrigued when you told me about it, because I just didn't seem to really, I didn't know many books talking about that subject, and even kind of taking the stance on it that you do. So tell us, I know there's a book he's selling. The point of this is not to, read the book. That's the point. But tell me a little bit about how you see ADHD, how you see it with God. I mean, don't give away your best stuff.
Let's start here. So the most interesting thing is that let's start from the basics here before I go more interesting. I've been diagnosed with ADHD since I was in 3rd grade.
Right.
I see one of the top neurologists in the country, just a great guy. And I still see him today. I'm the 2nd oldest patient.
Oh, wow.
And I actually asked him that. And then when I go and see him now, it's not about, hey, how you doing? How's your medication? No, we sit down and we get down to like the core.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a treat to go see him, and just because I bring all my notes and what I'm doing, and he's like, I like that. I like it. Yes, I agree with that. And then there's things that he brings to the table. Have you thought about this? And so I thought to myself, I'm like, how many other books are out there written by people who are ADHD?
Yeah.
And specifically about the Holy Spirit and God?
Yeah.
Zero. I'm zero.
Yeah, same with me.
And
I haven't heard
I
anything.
looked and looked and looked. Now they're out there. Please, let's chat. Let's talk. But it has been a very, very interesting journey, because
So I had to get away to finish my book. So I'm about to finish chapter 12, which is the last chapter of my book, and reached out to a friend about an hour away from where I live, and he lives out in Amish land. So it's a different world out here. It's peaceful, it's quiet, there's so many distractions. So I took the day off work. It's like, I just got to get it finished. So the book, I've been writing it since January of 2018. It has not been an easy journey. There have been tons of people along the way that have helped me. I'd like to mention a couple. So one of my best friends, you might know him. His name is Putty Putman. Shout out to him for forwarding my book, for being a part of my journey, diving deeper into the kingdom. And I talk a lot about our relationship as far as the kingdom ministry is concerned, and my life's involvement in that, in the final chapter of my book. I'd also talk a little bit about Putty and how we met in chapter 11. So little tidbit spoiler there.
Hey friends, just wanted to share a congratulations to Jake, and tell just a little bit about my side, I suppose, of intersecting living for Jesus with ADHD. Putty Putman here, and I have, of course, known Jake for a number of years. During my ministry time in Champaign, he became a friend. We had lots of different adventures together, playing video games, doing interesting things. And Jake became just a dear friend in terms of keeping sanity and stability in my life, I guess. But beyond that, we had ministry moments together, some profound, some doing ministry together. There's some powerful ministry moments. I got to pray for Jake, which is just super cool. And because of all of that, it has just been so cool, so exciting to see the process a little bit closer, I suppose, than some others might, as it comes to Jake writing this book. I've seen all these different drafts kind of at all these different levels. I remember, you know, his first draft of his first chapter. And I remember seeing that and reading through it and kind of seeing different layers as he continued to develop it and flesh it out and share his story. And eventually, of course, wrote an endorsement in the foreword for the book, which is always a great honor. And so it's been so cool to see that process as it come along. It's been fun to see Jake grow as a writer and as a communicator, and it's just a tremendous project to write a whole book. And so congratulations, man! Like, anyone who does that is hat tip from Putty. It's a big deal. And so, yeah, it's super fun to watch the book come along. And I mean, obviously, like, I didn't write the book. I had just a small little bit with it, in terms of staying in touch with it and sharing some thoughts, I suppose, with Jake along the way. But I'm really excited about where Living for Jesus with ADHD landed. I think it's a wonderful story of what it means to live with Jesus, with ADHD being a part of your life, and how Jesus is included in that. And it's not something where, you know, that's a handicap in terms of knowing him. No, it just means, like, this is a unique part of who I am, and Jesus meets me in all the parts of who I am. And so just so appreciated that, and appreciated Jake's vulnerability in the book. And I think it's going to be just a rich blessing to lots and lots of people. So well done, Jake. And I just bless Living for Jesus with ADHD. May it get into many hands and bless many people for the kingdom.